Hey there, this is Matt once again. We're about to another review for a series of films, the Matrix films. Very nice guy named Orc sent this to me a while ago. Very nice note that he has here. If you ever watch this, Orc, I hope you're doing well. And this is for you and quite a few others who wanted to hear my thoughts on it, especially one specific person or one particular person. If you're watching, you know who you are, you know why I say that. But the Matrix films, I am a huge fan of, including the first one. But at least the first one, granted, there's some people who say it's overrated, which I disagree with. I think it's what it deserves. But I know the sequels, a lot of people don't like the sequels. They were very disappointed in the sequels. I was not. This is one of the only franchises I can think of that I've seen every single one in the theater. Like Star Wars, I didn't see the ones. I mean, Return of the Jedi came out the day I was born, and I didn't see the special edition re-releases of them in the theater. So yeah, this is probably the only franchise. I mean, even the fourth one, or the Animatrix, I should say, there was a segment called Flight of the Osiris, which was before the Stephen King adaptation Dreamcatcher, starring Thomas Jane and Morgan Freeman. And the only reason I saw that piece of shit was to see the segment of The Matrix, Flight of Osiris, before that movie. That's how much I was into The Matrix. I saw this in the theater back in 1999. I saw The Matrix Reloaded twice in the theater in 2003. I was so excited to see this, and I really enjoyed it. I know I'm one of the few that enjoys the Matrix sequels. I'll get more into that when I talk about them. And I will review the Animatrix as well, because I enjoy all of that stuff. There were video games. I didn't play Enter the Matrix, but I did play this one. This was a lot of fun, because it has the voices of Keanu Reeves as Neo, Laurence Fishburne, and it has stuff from the movies, but it also does more stuff that wasn't in the movies, which is what makes this interesting. Like, oh, that was in the movie, that's cool. Like the training missions, there's one training mission that's done in sort of like a black and white or old school kung fu movie. There's one where you find the samurai amongst this water. It's like a training mission. In the first film, when Neo can't leave the building, the outside of the building, so he gets caught, you can actually control Neo to keep going and go on the outside of the building and be chased by the agents. So they do like little differences. Just like, well, people have seen the movie, let's do some little differences. Even the very end boss is a different kind of battle. Film footage recut by the Wachowskis shapes the storyline, play an all-new ending written by the Wachowskis. I thought it was a bit of a hard game to get used to all the moves and such. Over 600 martial arts style fighting moves, but this was a fun game. But getting to the first one, I remember seeing the trailer for this, being impressed. I love the way the trailer's edited, the piece of music they used. It's one of the, I think it's one of the best cut trailers. Really made me want to see the movie. And even the TV spots. One of them had Rock is Dead by Marilyn Manson. And good soundtrack too. Rock is dead, rock is deader than dead. And at the end, Rage Against the Machine. That's a good song. I do have the box set with the DVDs in them, but I'm going to show them when I talk about the sequels. I figure with, at least, you know what, I'm going to say that before I talk about the sequels, because I think they deserve a bit defending. Just with the Matrix films, I like the story they told. When you look at it as a trilogy, the story, this is a story I can easily see in a lot of animes. I know I'm not the biggest anime guy, but there's a couple I've enjoyed, like Akira and Ninja Scroll, among others. And this does, I mean, I know that's a big inspiration for these movies, animes, among other stuff. But I just see the story, the actual storyline, and where it leads to at the end of Revolutions, where the mind and the body and the spirit coming together, and which only escape together. I'll get more than that when I talk about Revelations. Revolutions, not Revelations. I'm surprised it wasn't called Matrix Revelations. Revolutions. This movie's an entertaining as hell flick. It's got great fight sequences. The effects for 1999, I still enjoy the effects. The bullet time, I know after this, so many other fucking movies used it. And whether, I mean, technically Blade did it before. And you want to talk about dodging bullets, films like Remo Williams dodged bullets before Neo. And Blade, which I reviewed Blade, you do have a bit of the bullet time when Stephen Dorff is getting out of the way of Blade's bullets. You see the bullet whiz by. That was 1998. This was 99. But it was definitely the success of this that you had films like Bulletproof Monk and all these movies rip it off. Not only the bullet time, but the way characters looked. I guarantee you that Paul W.S. Anderson, when he did his Resident Evil movies, I guarantee you he was influenced by these movies. I guarantee it. Because sometimes with Mila Jovovich, I swear he's just trying to have her be Trinity. There's a lot of movies that have copied The Matrix and ripped it off. And you just say this isn't 100% original either, but you say it with any movie. But I thought it was done very well. I like Keanu Reeves as a lead. I know a lot of people make fun of him. I've liked him ever since seeing him in the Bill and Ted movies. I love him in the film. I love the film Speed from 1994. That's a classic. Constantine, I think, is a very, very underrated movie. I also love. I like Street Teens. Love the John Wick movies. Yeah, Keanu Reeves, he seems like a nice guy, and he's always one of those guys that gets picked on a lot. But I've always enjoyed. Point Break, I've never been big on Point Break. I know that's like one of the movies that people are like, I'm surprised you don't like Point Break. I don't. I never, like, there's many other Keanu Reeves films I enjoy more than Point Break. Point Break just never got me with the surfing. I just didn't give a shit about the surfing. That's just my opinion. But yeah, seeing this in the theater in 99, that was the year people thought The Phantom Menace would be the big sci-fi film that people would talk about, but it became this movie, which came out like a month or so before Star Wars The Phantom Menace. And Star Wars The Phantom Menace, that was the not cool thing. This was the cool thing. And I was with them. I'll say this right here. I like the Matrix trilogy more than the Star Wars trilogy. Any of them. And I like the original Star Wars films. I reviewed the original Star Wars trilogy. I talked about how much I liked them. But if you were to ask me which I like more, I'd easily say I like the Matrix trilogy more. I like the storyline more, the action scenes more. And that's nothing against the original Star Wars films. If you were to ask me, I prefer the Matrix trilogy. I know I'm the only person that has ever said that. That's not against the original Star Wars. I reviewed them. Feel free to check out the reviews if you didn't. But I guess in a weird way, this was my Star Wars. Which doesn't make sense because when I saw this, it was 16 years old. So I saw tons of movies before that. But this was the stuff I was really hyped about when it came out. And it was a lot of fun rewatching these again. And I know back in the day, the Wachowskis, which they never really got to the plateau directing-wise of the Matrix films. I mean, they did Speed Racer, which I like, even though I shouldn't. But I liked it. It just has I thought it had sort of a zany energy, a kaleidoscope of colors that it just has a certain insanity to it that I had fun with. It was colorful, especially when you see it in like good, pristine picture quality. It looked really cool. I just had fun with it. Didn't watch. I knew of Speed Racer, but I didn't watch the show. Cloud Atlas, I did not see. Jupiter Ascending was shitty. So they never reached the plateau of these movies, but hey. But the Wachowskis, which I guess I can't really call them the Wachowski Brothers, I thought they did a really good job with all three of these movies. I like the story aspects. I like what they... The more I looked into The Matrix and even listened to the commentaries by... There's two commentaries. Well, on the original DVD, there's the cast and crew commentary, but on the box sets and other stuff, there's two commentaries. There's one with the critics, which they don't really like the movies. Maybe they like the first one, but not the sequels. And then you had the philosophers who really like these movies and give their thoughts on it. And it's interesting how you have like two commentators. One's are fans and one are the philosophers and one are non-fans, the critics. And the Wachowskis did an interesting thing with commentaries. I wish all movies had those kind of commentaries. That way, if it's a shitty movie, I pick up the DVD or Blu-ray for cheap just to hear people trash it apart. If it's a shitty movie, maybe maybe that's something you can look into. Studios, the movie sucks. Let's have a commentary that rips it apart. People maybe buy for cheap to listen to it. But listen to the philosophers and what they take away from it. Really made me appreciate these three films more and more. Very interesting commentaries. People may think, oh, they're full of shit, but it's the full of shit I like. To me, it's full of Skittles or full of popcorns. Something I like. To me, it wasn't shit. I just love the aspects, the perceptions, reality, and just so many memorable things. And I know back in the day they were thinking of Brandon Lee in the lead. I mean, you can look up on the internet where that's mentioned. I remember reading about it. I'm like, man, Brandon Lee. I could see Brandon Lee. I mean, I like Keanu Reeves. I really like him in the role. Brandon Lee would have been really interesting because I love him in Rapid Fire, Showdown Little Tokyo. He did a really good acting performance in The Crow. But man, I just think about like if he didn't die from the Crow situation, he would have been in Mortal Kombat, and that would be a hit film. Then he would have been who knows what, 96 or 97, and then boom, 99. This would probably be made in 98. Maybe they would say, hey, Brandon. He probably would have said yes. And man, he probably would have gone to... Maybe that would have been his jump to the A-list level. Miss Brandon Lee. I know the other one is Will Smith. They wanted for the lead. I like Will Smith. He passed it off to do Wild Wild West. Didn't work out. But I'm glad Keanu Reeves got it. Because I'm a big fan of him. I love the film Speed, the John Wick films. Like I said, Constantine is a very underrated movie. Bill and Ted movie, so glad he got it. Laurence Fishburne does a good job as Morpheus. Carrie-Anne Moss, who didn't really reach the level of success that she had in these movies, but she was really good as Trinity. Joe Pantoliano, he's only in this film. Of course, you know why if you see the movie, what happens with his character. Good sort of turncoat type of character. Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith. He's very entertaining in his dry performance as one of the agents. The music in these films, they're an underrated part of it. The score by Don Davis in all three movies, as well as other pieces of the score and songs. I love... The special effects are pretty damn good. Even for 1999, I think they're pretty damn good. The bullet time, a lot of people do bullet time. Ripped it off. Bulletproof Monk. Many others. Like the Blade, before it did it, when Steven Dorff's moving out of the way of Blade's bullet. And if you want to talk about dodging bullets, Remo Williams, Fred Ward did it way back in the day. And I enjoy those films, Remo Williams and Blade. I reviewed those films on this channel. for those interested. But this, I mean, the visuals, the story's really interesting, perception of reality, the blue pill and the red pill. Starts out with a bang, Trinity taking these cops out, some of the camera angles the director uses, like where it's like here and you see Trinity's part of her face and the cops right behind her. Some shots that you would see in anime. And this trilogy is the best live action anime adaptations you'll ever get. And technically it wasn't adapted from anime, but the best live action adaptation is going to be this Matrix trilogy. The way they did the angles, the way they used the camera, Trinity and taking out these cops when she jumps, and the way the camera turns and hits the cop. And you have Neo being woken up, aka Mr. Anderson, welcome back. And now it seems like no matter what he does, people could see him. Goes to this club, meets Trinity. He's working for, gets called up. Better get the fuck out of Dodge. He can't make it out of the building. He gets caught. Keanu Reeves has some fun lines. How about I give you the finger and you give me my phone call? How are you going to do that if you can't speak? Makes it so he has no mouth. I like the effect of that. They put this, they put a bug on him. They literally put a bug inside his belly button. It's like, ooh, shit kind of scene. And he wakes up, thinks it's a dream, but it's not. Meets Morpheus. Laurence Fishburne did a really good job. Sort of the Obi-Wan Kenobi to Neo's Luke Skywalker. The blue pill, the red pill, everyone knows about that. Love the reflection in the sunglasses, and you see both of it in the reflection. And just how they did a lot of the visuals, like, and the way it's set up. Look at the mirror, and it's like mercury. It goes over his body. And then being in the real world, and just in this deck, and the way humans are batteries for machines. They're like Duracell batteries. And how there's all these pods, these like purple pink type of pods, and you're bald, you got all these things, including this thing in your neck that you could just jack into. Which leads into really interesting stuff, like, hey, let's download programs so you know Kung Fu. There's a scene in the movie where she wants to know how to fly a helicopter. Okay, download it. Okay, now I can fly a helicopter. How in the Matrix, it's a virtual reality to keep humans in check while they drain the shit out of us for energy. And you go in the real world and things are dirty and things are dank and they taste like crap. You have shitty food. You have this Nebuchadnezzar, I always say that name wrong, this ship that Morpheus and them pilot in the real world, and they have these cool looking squid-like machines called Sentinels that you gotta deal with. Just love the look of these movies. Love the visual aspects. The cast do their jobs well. The fields of people being grown for battery usage. Like they have this practical, this animatronic baby hooked up and this fluid that Morpheus says they get the fluid from the dead to put into us to feed us. Intravenous, I believe he said. Even bits when Neo wakes up and they gotta rebuild his muscle tissue and they have like 1 million needles on his body. And these programs for training, so you have this white room and you can do it. They really put the imagination to use. Okay, use a prototype to do anything. And let's work with the camera. Let's have the real world, and then it pans down and there's them in the middle of it while Morpheus just sitting there by this TV. And the programs, the training programs, like the Kung Fu. I know Kung Fu. Show me. Really good choreography. Now, from what I remember in the making of, in the box set, which I'll show you when I talk about Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions, I think Keanu Reeves got hurt pretty badly. So in this one, he could not do a lot of kicks. Like he does some kicks, like in the fight with Agent Smith at the end. He does some kicks, but not as much as I guess they wanted him to. It worked out very well, and he was able to do a lot of those kicks in the sequels. But it still looked good. The back and forth and the flip off the wall and stop trying to hit me and hit me. Not going to every single move, but love the choreography. It's not schizophrenic editing. It's not shaky cam. Really good kung fu scenes. Mix them with this sci-fi neat idea of living in this VR world and it's not real. It's the Matrix made to keep you in check. You think of films like They Live, where the aliens kind of did that too, only instead of VR, you gotta put the sunglasses on. The world is actually in black and white, and this actually says obey. And so I'm not saying it's the most original movie, but it's a very entertaining movie, and I think they use the idea very well. The jump program, and where Morpheus jumps over, and Keanu's like, "Whoa," and he fails. Showing him this crowded area to show him what an agent is. So you're saying I can dodge bullets? No, I'm saying when you're ready, you won't have to. Because Morpheus thinks he's the one. They see the Oracle, this little bald-headed kid. There's no spoon, which I remember they use in Dog Soldiers. When the guy gets eaten and the guy's named Spoon, there is no spoon, and just all his body parts left. And like little stuff they add in to create this world. Like in this one, talking about deja vu. Oh, deja vu means the program's not working right. In Matrix Reloaded, when the Oracle's talking about how, sometimes you hear things about vampires and werewolves and aliens, that's when like a program's not working correctly or is trying to go outside the system. Or I mean, when you really listen to the dialogue, there's a lot of really interesting world building in these movies that I find very intriguing. Like the more I learn about it, the more it's fascinating to me. That's why I like listening to the philosophers' commentaries on these. You don't have to buy in everything they say, but just the fact that they come up with this, I thought was really cool. I think these movies are worth that effort, unlike fucking some other movies they do. And just as a popcorn action movie, it's a lot of fun. They're hiding in the walls, and Morpheus fights trying to find an agent to get Neo out of there, and they'll slide in the insides of this wall. Joe Pantoliano, he does a good job as the turncoat. He has this interesting scene with Hugo Weaving, where he's like, I know this isn't real, this piece of steak, but you know what? Sometimes ignorance is bliss. And it creates interesting questions. Would you go with ignorance? Like the real world is shit and it's dirty and it's not fancy and you have shit food. Would you live in a comfort but with ignorance? Or would you live in discomfort but it's real? Which would you choose? And Joe Pantoliano, Joey Pants as he's sometimes called, he chose one way and got his ass killed for it. Or Hugo Weaving's dialogue with Morpheus. Hugo Weaving, he does a great job in these movies. He's a lot of fun as the villain. Where he's talking with Morpheus like, you're a cancer, a plague, and we are the cure. And I know Cobra's the cure. But that's another story that I've talked about quite a few times. Over there. That's the cure. Hugo Weaving. But I like that because it shows that Agent Smith, he's tired of this shit. And it makes more sense when you look at the sequels. Okay, yeah, it shows that he wants out And now in the sequel, because of what happens at the end of this film, he's found a way to kind of be out of the system. He's kind of mad about that, but he's kind of happy about it because of the power he's getting. And that's a really good speech, I thought, that Agent Smith gives to Morpheus, where they're trying to get information out of him. And then when Neo and them go in, we need guns, lots of guns, and just this shitload of guns. Just that's what I mean. That's why I love this world, to be able to do stuff like that. Hey, I want guns. So we can have fucking machine guns and handguns and Uzis. I love that stuff. And you get that great sequence when they go into the building to the metal detector. Holy shit! And just, two bang bang machine guns, handguns, pillars blowing up, doing cartwheels, getting M16. Trinity gets a shotgun, shoots the guy with his own shotgun. Get in the elevator, flying up as the thing comes down, slow motion, blow up, cool looking fire. They go on the rooftop, fighting, and that's where you get the famous scene where he does the dodging bullets. Great looking sequence. Definitely a iconic moment, I could say. When I saw it in the trailer back in the day, I'm like, whoa, what the hell is this? Like, something unique and something I had not seen too many times before. What is this about? What is this movie? It's a really entertaining movie. I understood what was going on. I wasn't confused. I didn't think it was boring. Thought for an over 2-hour movie, it moved at a good pace. Did some epic scenes of action and martial arts. Of course, after he dodges, you have a cool line from Trinity, dodge this, on the agent. That was satisfying. And that's what's like, hey, I need program to fly a helicopter. Okay, now to fly a helicopter. Cool. And then Neo with that Gatling gun, killing all these agents. Thankfully, he missed Morpheus. You think with a Gatling gun, thankfully he did not kill Morpheus. In real life, he probably would have ripped Morpheus to shreds, but it's a movie. So I think it's a very fun scene. But of course, a Gatling gun, it's always nice to see a Gatling gun. A fucking mini gun. It's always great to see a mini gun in a movie. Except Predators. That didn't save it. Even when that Russian guy had the minigun. It didn't save Predators. But usually, I'm like, yes, it's got a minigun. Cool. Probably be a good movie. And then Morpheus and some nice stunt work of actual people hanging out of a helicopter in the wide shots. And then holding on to the hose. The thing he's hanging on. So Trinity gets out, that great swing, and the helicopter smashes the building. You have this nice ripple effect. Boo, 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 boo. Really beautiful on a visual level. And you have this great fight on the subway between Neo and Smith when they're both going at each other in the 360. Nice back and forth. Keanu gets beat up and he does this and ba 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 ba. Poo poo. Even does this nice thing. It was like this. Can't reach it. Like, to Agent Smith. Fucking beating the fuck out of him. Agent Smith gets him. The name is Neo. Fucking flies him up to the top. Knocks the fuck out of Agent Smith. Does a backflip. Kiss my ass. Train grabs his ass. Long story short, he runs up, gets shot. I ain't dead, motherfucker. Oh, you shooting bullets at me? I stop your ass. They're nothing. They're all nothing. I'm gonna jump in you and fuck your day up. The agent's gonna leave. Get the fuck out of Dodge. Love the music in that scene. When he's stopping the bullets and he goes into Agent Smith. Which then that leads into the sequels. Just satisfying. He is the one. and does the phone call and the warning. It's not about how it's going to end, it's about how it's going to begin. And you got that Rage Against the Machine music. Come on! Let me get some pictures here. But man, this movie, watching it again, it's such a satisfying sit. I love the look. I mean, granted, on the Blu-ray, I get why the Wachowskis did this, but I still wish they didn't. I mean, this is the DVD, but I put the Blu-ray in here. I don't know, just because. Because I bought this DVD because I thought it was... For those who don't know, on a quick note, apparently on some of the older DVDs that look like this, it will have the original color scheme when it came out in 1999 in theaters. Because when the sequels came out and they released these others on DVD and Blu-ray, they went back to the first movie and changed the color scheme to match the sequels so that you get a bit more of green, especially in the Matrix itself, a lot more green. And they did that to, again, hook it to the sequels. But I wish you would give people the choice. Just give people the choice. That's all I ask for. Whether George Lucas, you want any special editions, George Lucas, fine, but give people the choice. I know you had that DVD back in the day where they were a bonus disc, but you didn't fix up the picture. It was like a crappy Laserdisc copy on a DVD. Didn't really do much for it. Like, give people a choice. People would appreciate that. They really do. And so I thought this was that, but it wasn't. It was the same green. So I took the DVD and I just put the Blu-ray in here because I like the cover. It's simple, but this is a cover I remember seeing back in the day. But yeah, these movies, especially the first one, such wonderful action sequences and stunt set pieces and mix of sci-fi and interesting ideas and kung fu and great cast. Like I said, I'm big Keanu Reeves fan, and no matter what it stole before, a lot more stole from these movies after. The way they look, the bullet time, all that stuff. Just I agree with Time Magazine. Smart filmmaking gets strapped in for a brain-popping trip. Mind warp stunts, techno slamming visuals, mega kick action. Keanu Reeves and Laurence Fishburne lead the fight to free humankind in the Matrix. The C and C Again cyber thriller, written and directed by the Wachowskis. Story sears, the special effects stake out new movie making territory. The movie flat out rocks. That's not even a review. That's literally the synopsis. And I agree. Perception. Our day in, day out world is real. Reality. That world is a hoax. An elaborate deception spun by all-powerful machines of artificial intelligence that control us. Whoa. It actually says whoa on there. Whoa. Wow, back in the day, these DVD features. Web events and chat room access. Exclusive chat rooms with celebrity guests and other special events. Enhanced features for your DVD raw on PC. Original theatrical website sampler trailers. Wow. But anyway. I don't know more. That's what it's. How do you talk about films that a lot of people mention? It'll be more interesting to talk about the sequels because they get shit on. But yeah, I know there are people who feel these films are They feel this film's overrated. They just felt the sequel sucked. But yeah, I have no problems with this movie. Such fun, entertaining, cool ways like the framing, the camera work, some of the 360 pans when people go in slow-mo, how they did the bullet time, how some scenes are frames, like high up looking down at people, or like I said, when Trinity is arrested and you see the cop right behind her and you see her eye, like the way they frame certain shots. Very, like you should tell the directors, took their time and effort, and I appreciate that. I really do. It has that hard-kicking, just guns a-blazing action. I know there's a lot of violence in the world, and they want to blame video games and movies. That's a bunch of horse shit. How about you take a look at parents? Because think about it. Statistically, there's a lot of idiots in the world, correct? And again, statistically, that means that a lot of those idiots are probably parents. So sadly, a lot of idiots happen to be parents, and if they're idiots, then they raise idiot kids, and idiot kids do idiot things like the bullshit you hear a lot of days. So, you have a lot of people who should not be parents, who suck ass as parents, and maybe you should take a look at them. But that's too hard. It's easy to blame a movie and a game. That's the easy way. Yeah, that's right. That's why it's wrong, because it's the easy way. A lot of times the truth is the hard way, and not the Michael J. Fox movie. It's fucking tough. It's not going to be easy. That's supposed to be easy. Just like making movies is not easy. I know that. That's why I don't give things the pass. But that's another thing down. Maybe that's another video one day. Anyway, to me it's a classic film. Love this movie. And next up, I will talk about the film I saw twice in the theater and enjoy, The Matrix Reloaded. See you guys later. Bye-bye.